post your notices, you put a $50 deposit on a sign that's posted on your property. I think you had a picture of one of those, didn't you, David? Did I just see one? They're like a real estate sign, but it's not that. And you gave a $50 deposit. The county planning office would really appreciate if you bring those signs back and get your $50 deposit
We got
back.
more chairs over there.
They're getting short of signs, and they really need to have those signs back. Otherwise, by the time they get the guys up at the penitentiary to make a bunch more, they really need it right now.
Could use a job.
So there's plenty of seats up here. People just keep filing in. We have a lot of items on the agenda tonight.
Mr. Chairman, make sure that people know that they have to pull it off if they want to discuss it. People
There's one
always
right here.
forget it. And it goes through without any action. You're here all night to speak on this.
Okay. All right, we're going to start. First, we're going to reconvene, but we'll be convening as the Zoning Board of Adjustment first. So a few introductory comments. I call to order this regular meeting of the Minnehaha County Board of Adjustment, and we'll begin with a few introductory comments. As a courtesy to everyone here, make sure that your cell phones are turned off. The Planning Commission will convene as the Zoning Board of Adjustment to consider item 1. Item 1, approval of the minutes of April 22nd, and then items 2 and 3, requests for a variance. For the meeting agenda, we will follow our normal hearing procedure by requesting planning staff to present the report on each item, and then request the petitioner come to the podium and make a statement or answer questions. Anyone from the audience wishing to address the item shall be recognized by the chairman, move to the podium, state their name and address for the record. The Board of Adjustment will then discuss the matter and take appropriate action. After item 3, the board will reconvene as the Planning Commission. Action taken on a variance may be appealed to the circuit court in a manner and form as provided by the statutes of the state of South Dakota. Is there a motion to approve the minutes of the February 22nd Board of Adjustment meeting?
So moved.
Okay, we have a motion and a second.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, is there a motion to, okay, so now we go to item number 1.
Number 2.
Number 2.
Item number 2 is a variance request 16-03. This is a request to reduce the minimum lot size in the Ag District from 1 acre to 0.46 acres on property described as Tract 2, Lacey's Tract 2 in the southwest quarter of Section 5. This is located approximately 2 miles west of Brandon. I'll show you here on the map. The lot size variance is going to occur right here at this corner. The applicant is Alliance Communication, and they are requesting, as I indicated, to create approximately a half-acre lot in order to construct a fiber network terminal building, I guess we would call it. We have dealt with a number of these with other utilities like lift stations, water pumping stations, so it's not unusual. And when we look at variances, we look at really what's going to, if there's a hardship, if it meets certain criteria. So with that in mind, that this is eventually you'll be discussing, as of the Planning Commission, the conditional use permit for the fiber optic structure. Today, right now, we are just discussing the lot size variance, So this is the lot size variance, and as you know, not all situations can be covered by the zoning ordinance, and so there is a mechanism put in place that allows you to vary the criteria of the zoning ordinance in order to change the circumstances and the conditions somewhat to allow or support a specific use. And a 1 acre minimum lot size reflects the state's minimum lot size for a well and a septic system to be located on a residential lot. In this case, however, the lot being created is not for a residential purpose. It's to allow for a future fiber network facility. So you look at, is it are there conditions or circumstances which preclude that use? And as I indicated, there is no need for a 1 acre lot, and there will be no septic system constructed on this property. Number 2, does the variance grant a use which is otherwise excluded from the district? It does not. Neighborhood utilities are allowed in the A1 agricultural district with a conditional use permit for which the applicant has applied, and you'll be hearing that shortly. The proposed use should not harm the property values in the area. The third criteria is, we look at if there are specific conditions or circumstances upon which strict following the criteria of the zoning ordinance would create an unwarranted hardship. And there would be a hardship. The property owner is only selling the land, really only wants to sell a smaller parcel of land, and the utility company only wants to purchase a smaller part of land, doesn't want to purchase a 40-acre parcel. Number 4, does granting the variance, or is granting the variance contrary to the public's interest? Is it in harmony with the general purpose and intent of the zoning ordinance? This request is. The proposed use is a public use and is part of a communication network which will supply the communication needs for many people in the area. So the overall need is clear, and this use is typical for a community. And lastly, we look at if there are circumstances or conditions where there is no possibility of the property being used or developed if there was strict conformity to the zoning ordinance. And there's always a need for public infrastructure, so there is a public need for this use. And the request is a reasonable use of the property and allows for the development of the site as a communication facility. Staff recommends approval of variance 1603 to reduce the minimum lot size in the A1 agriculture district from 1 acre to approximately 0.46 acres or half acre in size. I'll show you some general pictures I took of the property. As I indicated, this is basically, once again, at the corner of 6 Mile Road and Callis Trail. I'm not sure how you pronounce that. Calise. Right here is the half acre parcel. So this is the site plan that was submitted by the applicant. There'll be a driveway, and then there'll be a small building that will be constructed on there. Right now it's pasture. This sort of shows the pasture. There is a property, this is the property to the north on Calise, and there's another house to the north, and this is across the road. And I'd be glad to answer any questions that you have.
Any questions of Scott? If not, petitioner come forward. Thank you, Scott. State your name and address, please.
Paul Vandenberg, 113 North Split Rock, Brandon, South Dakota.
Andy Holscher, same address.
Okay, any questions or comments?
We're looking to do this to expand our fiber optic network to serve all the future growth that is coming and to provide much faster speeds to keep up with the demands of our consumers and businesses today. So we're looking to take those little disruptions to that property. As you can see, it is used currently for grazing. So we want to stay as far off, to the corner and to the side there, so he still has full use of his land and property. So reducing our costs, keeping the land functional to what it is right now.
And as far as the facility, that would be one of those precast hut type things that they make in Elk Point?
Yes. So very similar to that. I think it's probably the same exact building up there. That's what we're proposing.
The other question we use to get us noise and sound relative to that.
We won't have any generator. There'll be nothing on site that will create noise or sound. No exterior lighting. Just an aggregate outside of the building, and probably soften the area with a few trees as well.
Commission?
How big is the building?
12 by 16 is a standard building. Sometimes we've gone to 12 by 20.
Does it go down?
No, it's just on slab.
Okay.
Any other questions of the petitioner?
Why did this particular site, why is this versus on Maple Street?
So there's in one of those pictures there was a small right on that corner, there's a white, that right there is a terminal box that we have currently there. So that's a main feeder fiber that runs right in that road ditch.
Okay.
It runs north and south there. That will collapse that little, they call it a local convergence cabinet. That one there will form inside the building. And then we're gonna collapse another one that's further south. So those will go away. These will house all of the fiber at that point.
Any other questions, petitioner? If not, we'll have anyone else in the audience care to address this, please?
Yeah, I'd like to address it. My name is Kevin Calise. I live on the end of the road. And I talked to him about the road itself, but I was concerned because that's where they moved their cattle, Canonicus, into that pasture. So you're running right off of 6 Mile. So they're gonna put their road right going off of 6 Mile, not running it on Police Place is what I, so what I was wondering is where is Canonicus is gonna run his, cattle and stuff
Right.
off the county road to get.
Check on that, it's okay.
Yeah. There's actually an existing driveway right now off 6 Mile, and the reason why we're added, that was Roger Knockinus' suggestion. He said, can we share that driveway? He said, yes, he has trailers, he wants to come in out of there. We said we're actually gonna beef up the driveway, make it stronger, wider, and better. So we talked about that quite a bit, and that's actually where he prefers that it be, because it's out of his way.
Well, because it's really so close to Police Place, in there, so when you beef it up or whatever, it's gonna, I don't see how you're not gonna affect Police Place, coming in there. Cause it's right against it.
Right, it doesn't touch the corner right now, but we'll use the
That's
existing
an
driveway.
existing approach, though.
It is existing
Yeah,
approach
but
that he
that-
uses today, and that was his main concern, is he said, can I still use that? We said, yes, absolutely.
Okay.
We'll have a gate with a lock, and he'll have the code, and it's up, he can use it as much as he wants, doesn't even
So
need to
you're
notify
gonna,
us.
so you're gonna use the same thing,
Yeah.
and you're not gonna have to try to add anything.
Right, same field approach, same drive. That worked great for him too.
So are the cattle gonna wander around your building?
We talked about just putting a very small fence up around the building to maintain, put up some trees, put up a small fence, and he said that was fine.
Okay, anyone else in the audience want to address this, please? If not, we'll move for action.
Move approval.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve this variance. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. The motion carries. And now we have item number 3, variance 16-04, to allow an accessory dwelling unit above detached garage on Cluskey tracks.
Hello, I'm Kevin Huffman, County Planning Department. As you just heard, this is a variance to allow an accessory dwelling above a detached garage. The property is located 1 mile west of Renner in the Crosskeys Tract subdivision, right in the middle of it. The parcels, nearly all the parcels in the subdivision are single-family dwellings, and the parcels in the lots, in this particular case, is slightly smaller than an acre. The records in the planning office indicate the subdivision was platted in 1977. The petitioner is requesting a single-family dwelling and a detached garage with a single-family quarters built in part of the garage structure. This type of detached accessory building with living quarters is commonly referred to as accessory dwelling unit. And the ordinance does not allow this sort of accessory dwelling unit because it only allows one single-family dwelling in the zoning district. Staff met with the applicant at least 2 occasions prior to this meeting and discussed the options. And despite staff trying to direct him outside of this petition for a variance, he has applied anyway. At those meetings, we discussed alternative options, and I might go through the conditions first before I discuss the options. But as part of a variance, there are conditions that are reviewed to see if it fits with the area and the intent of the variance. The number one, the specific circumstances or conditions such as exceptional narrowness, topography, or siting exists. And this is not an exceptional in this area. The lot may be smaller than 1 acre, but as I noted, it's common in this area. And being smaller than 1 acre does not necessarily restrict how housing is built on the property. And it may be a detriment being that you have to place septic systems and other utilities in the yard. The variance number two, that the variance does not grant a use which otherwise excluded that particular district or diminish or impair the property values within the area. The granting of this variance request would allow a use that does not otherwise be allowed in the zoning district and in the residential zoning designated for this parcel. Number three, that due to the specific circumstances or existing conditions, strict application of the zoning ordinance would be an unwarranted hardship. The property is undeveloped, and the property owner does have the ability to develop a single-family dwelling in the same manner as the other residential zone property in the area. Number four, that the granting of the variance is not contrary to the public interest in the harmony with the general purposes and intent of the zoning ordinance. This request is directly against the zoning ordinance that allows one single-family dwelling per lot in the rural residential zoning district. Many accessory structures exist in the area around the location for the request, but no accessory dwelling units are located in the neighborhood. And number five, that because circumstances or conditions, there is no possibility that the property can be developed or in strict conformity with the provisions of the zoning regulations, that the authorization of the variance is therefore necessary to enable the reasonable use of the property. And as I noted before, that the surrounding area is primarily single-family residences, and you can develop this property into a single-family residence with a detached garage as it is currently is zoned.
Some members of the audience are having a hard time hearing you, Kevin.
Do I need to bring this closer?
That's better.
Thank you.
Okay. Some of the options before I go with the recommendation. We discussed some options with having this sort of dwelling within a two-type dwellings. In the county, we do allow kind of other dwellings to be mixed within the same residential dwelling. They cannot be separated by a wall. They have to have like a breezeway or a connecting way to get to these residences. And that would be a way to allow a single-family dwelling with, say, 2 kitchens and bathrooms and that sort of thing. And that does happen in the county in several places. Yeah, that would be probably the primary way to allow this, a similar way to allow this type of request. So as right now, staff recommends a denial of variance 1604, and I'll go over some of the pictures. This would be the site plan that the petitioner submitted with the single-family residence right here and the detached garage right here. Well, I didn't include a picture of the detached accessory building, but the accessory building, the accessory dwelling unit would be placed above the garage, so there'd be stairs that would go up to the upstairs of the garage that would have the apartment as requested. This is looking at the neighborhood street to the east and now to the west. And there's the lot that's undeveloped. And you can see that it's mature trees in the neighborhood and some of the other houses in the area. And that's what I have. Is there any questions?
Questions of Kevin?
So Kevin, we're on a septic system here,
It would be a septic system in this one.
and is there sufficient room to put a second dwelling on another septic system?
The state requires 1 acre for a septic system, As this was a platted lot prior to that requirement, we would allow a septic system, as many of these other houses already have one. We would not allow two.
Right.
So they would have to share it in some manner.
Item number 3 here, it says that due to the specific circumstance or existing condition, strict application of the zoning ordinance would be an unwarranted hardship. This property is undeveloped, it says. Is it undeveloped? There's a house on it?
No,
It's vacant.
It's vacant.
Oh, it's vacant.
It's
There's nothing on it.
it's one of only a few properties in the development that has
And
nothing.
rather than build a house where you want to live above the accessory building?
So the request is that he's gonna have a house and then a garage with the house above it, so it's essentially 2 houses. Only the one is gonna be the very small.
Okay, I wasn't clear with that, thank you.
Anyone else? Not will have the petitioner come forward, please?
My name is Pavel Skinder, 4109 North Pennsylvania Avenue, Sioux Falls, 57107, and this is my dad, same address. My dad don't speak much English, so I'll be helping him out as well, so.
My name is Vladimir.
Okay.
First I'm gonna say who I am and why do I want to build. I'll pull up the PowerPoint first.
Make sure to use the microphone so everyone can hear you.
There. What we want to build and why. So I purchased this property last year, and I'm from a big family. I'm the second oldest. This is my dad. We have 13 kids in the family. So, and I'm planning to get married hopefully in October. I filed for the 90 days by fiance visa. My fiance is in Germany right now, and hopefully she could come here soon and we could get married. So, and I'm planning to build a house there on the lot and raise the family on this lot. It's right next to the city, very convenient location for me, close to my work. As of right now, I will not be able to, and we're not ready to put the house up yet. And the reason I bought this lot, it allows an accessory, a unit or a garage or a storage, however you call it. You can build up to 1,200 square feet accessory building without living space. But my plan is to build a garage, 3-car garage, 1,200 square feet, and put an apartment in the attic of this garage and live there for a few years, 2-3 years, till we get ready to build our house, and then the use of this garage later on is going to be as a guest house, and my parents will not be able to take in my grandparents once they're going to be needed for the nursing home. And my fiance is a nurse, and for the future use of this apartment up there is going to be for my grandparents, and my parents also live close on the north side of Sioux Falls, so they'll be really close to their parents, and we'll be able to be right next to them and take care of them. So right now I want to go over of the structures of the house and the garage we want to put and how they're going to look like on the lot. So the first one, this is the house we plan to build. We're still working on some of the modifications on the inside of the house, so we're still working on it, and we're not ready yet financially to put this building this year. Put this building up this year. So, second picture. This is the same style, Craftsman style garage. As you can see, 3-car garage with the some living space in the attic. This is how the living space can be arranged in the attic there. So here's the blueprint for the garage, and here's the site plan. So the reason I want to have these different is separated from the house. The county told us we can build the separate garage and later on add on a breeze or attach the garage to the house somehow. This way they would allow it, but going this way, I mean, it would not be a good use of the land for me. I would like to have this kind of on this side. I have it pointed down on the screen second corner. There you go. I would add this to the other side or make this garage bigger. Then all the empty space would be kind of I'll have one big house, big building on the lot, and all the rest of the area will be open. This way, having this garage here to the side would kind of close me from this side, and to have a garden here and a yard in here for the kids, and having the matured trees around here will be kind of enclosed area for the family, and also for as I mentioned, we're having big families, and we usually have a lot of guests, and for guests to stay over at the apartment. This is what we're looking forward to build. For the family use, it's not going to be, we're not planning to sold this off or use this, rent this out as an apartment. This is we're planning for many years for the family use, for the guests to come by, and for the my grandparents when the time's going to be for them so we need to take care of them. They will be able to come to us. My fiance is a nurse, and she'll be able to take care of them. So the question about the septic tank, I already had when there was a week excavating came over, he did the estimating, he did the planning design, and actually there's a permit already he did the perk test. And there's going to be, for these two dwellings, he estimated 2,400 gallons, 35 square feet of desaturation field, and the permit number is 16-016. So there's going to be one septic tank system for two of these. There's enough field to around the desaturation field on the property, and the house is going to be far enough away from the property line, so we could, as you can see, there's going to be 3 lines for 100 feet of the separation feeder, and the tank is going to be right here, and there's going to be three lines here, tank right here, and then the drain pipe is going to be coming from the house and from the garage. So there is a possibility we can attach this to the house, but we do not want to use this because it's going to be one big building on the middle of the property, and the area is not going to be closed off. So the main reason I want to do this is to have a proper land use for the family as an enclosure, and for the guests who come in, and for the grandparents.
Thank you. Any questions of the petitioner? Anyone else in the audience care to address this? Yes.
My name is Earl Erpelding. I live at 47574 Neener Circle. I've lived at Neener Circle since 1978. I have witnessed the development of the McCroskey addition. At present, there are 2 undeveloped lots remaining to be developed. I do not believe that with 95% of the lots having been developed, it is now time to relax the requirement of single-family dwellings to be built in the McCroskey addition. It is also my belief that a 30-foot by 40-foot garage should not be constructed on a vacant lot until the construction of the single-family dwelling is completed. I would like to thank you for the opportunity for me to express my opposition to the requested variance.
Okay, thank you, sir. Anyone else in the audience care to address this?
My name's Barney Kane, 47572 Neener Circle. I'm in the 500-foot variance. I do agree with that owner also that the single-family dwelling should proceed before any garages or anything else.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else? Seeing none? Oh, you,
Yeah, they're
okay,
coming.
one more fellow, okay.
Sorry.
No, that's fine.
My name's John Hook. I live at 47582 Teresa Circle, so I'm in the 500-foot radius again.
Okay.
This will be on my back side of my house. I do agree that single-family dwellings should be erected first before any other buildings are. But my concern is when it comes to the septic systems. If he's saying that he's gonna have a large family and that we're putting more over top of another building, is that going to be sufficient enough ground for a septic system to do what it's supposed to for dispersing of the products? I have concerns about that. I guess I'm kind of going with Earl on this too, that this is single-family dwellings, not multiple. If you want to have more bedrooms, then I suggest you put it onto the original existing house, not above. So that's just my opinion.
Thank you. Anyone else? Yes, ma'am.
Mary Hawkinson, 47586 Teresa Circle. I would be directly, their house would be right here, and I'm right here. And I'm agreeing with what the neighbors have said. It is a single dwelling in housing development, and I believe it should stay the same and build bigger if that's what you need.
Okay, thank you.
There you go.
Anyone else?
Can I answer the question?
Yes,
about the
yes.
septic?
Go ahead, one more, yes. We'll have the commissioner come up and then we're gonna close the floor. I think we kind of, go ahead.
I have talked with the contractor about the septic system. He's a licensed contractor. The house, the maximum number of rooms we ever gonna have, including the garage, is 7. So he calculated the maximum of the septic system we need. He did the pre-test. He says everything's gonna be okay with the septic system, and the ground will be able to saturate this, no problem. The other thing, city allows to put this with the breezeway attached to the house. So basically, I'm gonna have the same thing, except it's gonna be attached to the house. So it'll be a better use of space for me having this set just a little bit down from the house. It's gonna be, never gonna be used for different people. It's gonna be one family owned. Just, it's gonna be more of a guest house, guest house for the guests to come in. The people who's gonna live in the house, it's gonna be a guest house or the grandparents' house when they can be ready to move in and be there until they pass away, so.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I think we'll close the floor at this time. And we'll move to the commission for discussion or action.
Mr. Chairman, I have to say that I agree with our staff on this, and this seems to be shoehorning a little too much into this one lot.
Well, it also gets back to our basic ordinance, which says one single family unit per lot.
Well, and the staff has talked about other options to the applicant, which apparently are unacceptable. And, I guess there are other places to build in this county or city.
Any other comments or actions?
Is that a
Hearing-
motion?
I'll make a motion to deny the request.
Motion to deny the request. Is there a second to that
I'll
motion?
second it.
Motion and a second. Any other further discussion?
I,
Go ahead.
you go first.
I was just gonna
I
say,
might just echo what you're saying.
I would encourage the applicant to work with staff some more when there are some options there that might not be the perfect options for what you'd like to see on the site, but for what the site is and what the neighborhood is and the history there in the neighborhood and how it's been built out. Hopefully you could find an option that does work and still help for taking care of your family with how you ultimately build. I guess that'd be my comments.
Yeah, and I think you have a great dream, a great vision. I do know that there are other couple homes in the county that have what I would say like grandparent quarters or whatever you want to call them, that have a nice addition with it's not a whole kitchen, but some private living space, but still within the same dwelling. But then there's a way to close the doors so each part of the family can be a little bit separate, and they seem to work nicely. So I think our county staff will have some really good ideas for you to help to achieve part of your dream.
Okay, well, the other part of this too is if you would allow this, as far as I'm concerned, you're generating another housing eligibility.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. For you folks, you might not ever plan on any other use. You don't anticipate selling, but if you sell, then we have 2 places here, and now the next person is gonna rent that out as an apartment, even if you never would. So like he said, we've created another building eligibility.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by denying the petition, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion is denied. At this time, I need a motion to adjourn as the Board of Adjustment.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to adjourn. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And then through the magic of Minnehaha